Hey, soccer fans and strategic investors. This is Nick for Sons of a Pitch, Soccer Central, bringing you MLS Major League Soccer Week 16 betting picks and predictions. You guys are probably expecting Mike, but as he mentioned in a prior video and in our weekly recaps, he has taken a bit of a hiatus to spend some much-needed time with his family. So I got you covered for all the betting picks and predictions this week. But first, as always, let's see that intro. Well, soccer fans, once again, welcome back to our betting picks and predictions for Major League Soccer Week 16. I am your host, Nick, again, filling in for Mike, who all our thoughts are with him as he is spending some time with his family right now, taking care of some family matters. If you wanted to hear the full update on that, go check out our weekly recap video. You can jump ahead to the last few minutes to hear everything going on with the show. But in the interim, I have you covered. Not only will I keep up with the betting picks and predictions videos, I'll be handling the weekly recaps and probably even merging in some local content with another YouTube channel, Wife Children House channel, where we cover Chicago Fire as well as just kind of other goofy soccer videos. So we are expanding here at SOP, but definitely keeping the picks and predictions because that's what you are all here for. Now, I am looking at the BetMGM odds as well as kind of recent runs of form for the teams. And you know what? I still think there's plenty of value in betting soccer, especially MLS. It's only been around now in its 28th season we're in, I think. And so there's not a whole lot of data for these sports books to really kind of make their odds on, but they're getting better, but so are the bettors. And then with parlays, prop bets, and all the different kinds of wages you can make online, mid-game, pre-game, anything like that, there's still a lot of money to be made and a lot of fun to be had. So with that, let's get right into it as we start with the first matchup of FC Cincinnati versus Orlando City. FC Cincinnati's coming off a draw and 2 losses, whereas Orlando City's recent run of form, win, draw, loss. I don't see a lot of offense in this one, despite Brandon Vasquez having a good season and despite Ersin Cara making strides for Orlando City. So I think on this Friday game, the June 24th game, that this one will end up as a draw. Now, moving into Saturday, we have Seattle hosting Kansas City. And despite Kansas City having a win-loss-loss run of form, which does not include their big win in the Open Cup, Seattle is coming off a draw and 2 wins. And Seattle is just the juggernaut, as we know. I think Kansas City is going to rotate the squad and get ready for U.S. Open Cup matches and make a run at that trophy now that they're in the semis. So also, Seattle at home, hard to bet against them. I'm picking Seattle to win this game. Next up, D.C. is hosting Nashville. Now, D.C. loss, draw. That's not a good run of form. And that's because DC is not a good team. Now, Nashville is also coming off a loss, and I don't expect to see back-to-back losses for them. They should get Walker Zimmerman back from international duty, depending on the status of a knock that he picked up while playing overseas. So take a look at your rosters. Take a look at who's coming out for that. And we will see also DC has a new signing as well. So make sure you're looking into that before you make any wagers. But regardless, I think Nashville is the way to go. Now, next game, Montreal is hosting Charlotte. Montreal, despite a loss-win-loss run of form and Charlotte having a draw-win-loss run of form, I think Charlotte is inconsistent, and I don't see them winning on the road against a Montreal team who, after the international break, should be trying to get back to that form that brought them to the top of the Eastern Conference table. So I'm picking Montreal to win at home. As I mentioned, the international break occurred, so these teams are only playing maybe their second or third game in the last 5 or 6 weeks. So depending on the roster and if they have had any international players gone or picking up injuries, they may be refreshed, they may be tired, or they may be a little rusty or out of their standard form. So I want to make sure I put that out there as well. Next game, Toronto is hosting Atlanta United, and TFC loss, win, draw. Atlanta win-loss draws. I'm going to pick a draw just because it's at Toronto. I know Atlanta has offense looked really good in their last game, but until they string it together for 2 or 3 games, I'm not going to bet on them heavily. I think Toronto can at least play to a draw at home against a conference opponent, and I think Nelson for Toronto is going to have a good game. Now, let's scroll down and we get you the next group of games here as we take a look at the odds on the BetMGM website. Next group of games, Miami versus Minnesota. I'm picking Miami to win this one. Even though both of these teams don't have the greatest run of form, Miami loss, win, win. Minnesota loss, loss, win. It's a non-conference game at Miami, so I don't know if Minnesota is going to value this one too highly. Miami, on the other hand, needs the points, and they're at home. I think they go for all 3 and get all 3. Next match is another cross-conference game. Houston hosting the Chicago Fire. Chicago gets their first win in their last 11 games last week against the aforementioned bad DC United. Houston, meanwhile, is trending downward. Loss, loss, win after a hot start. Now, call it hometown bias, but I really think Chicago has looked really good before and after the international break. I think Chris Mueller gets on the score sheet this game, and Chicago wins it. Next up, we stay in Texas. Austin hosting Dallas. Austin's form, win-loss draw. Dallas, loss, win-loss. Now, these are the 3rd and 4th place teams in the Western Conference right now. And while both teams do have good offense, most of Austin's goals came in the first few weeks of the season. And Dallas has striker Jesus Ferreira coming off a great international window. I think it's a high-scoring game, but I think Dallas wins this one. Next up, RSL hosts the Columbus Crew, who just signed a huge player, 7th biggest transfer in MLS history, Cucho Hernandez. RSL's coming off a win-loss win and is playing out of their minds, outperforming expectations on the season. Columbus, however, coming off a draw, win, loss. But I think they get this new signing bump. I think he sees a few minutes in this game, and I think Columbus will play well enough in Salt Lake to get the draw. Now we're going to California for the Cali Clasico. San Jose hosting LA Galaxy. I don't know what to expect from a San Jose team who is loss, draw, loss in their last 3, who even after Matias Almeida was shown the door is inconsistent at best, and an LA Galaxy team who has been struggling defensively and also has their own inconsistency on the offensive end. You know, my heart wants to pick San Jose, but I'm going to use my head here, and I am going to pick the draw on this one, and that is what the odds say as well. Staying in the Western Conference, for our last game Saturday, Portland is hosting the Colorado Rapids. Portland coming off a poor run of form, draw, loss, loss. Colorado, meanwhile, draw, loss, win. I try not to doubt Portland at home, but Colorado is playing a little bit better than them on the season. I'm going to go chalk and pick a draw again. I know I'm picking a lot of draws here, but I think there's good reason for it. And, you know, we'll see how I do overall when we return next week. Now let's scroll down and see what the games and the odds are for Sunday, according to the BetMGM website. LAFC, first game on Sunday, hosting the New York Red Bulls. First in the West, LAFC. Second in the East, Red Bulls. LAFC, draw, win, win. Red Bulls, win, loss, win. Fans, is this a MLS Cup preview here? Maybe. So maybe these teams want to make statements to the other one. But regardless, I think LAFC at home is the clear favorite, and I would bet on them, even against a high-pressing Red Bull team. Next game on that Sunday, Philadelphia hosting New York City FC, 2 of the 3 best teams in the Eastern Conference. They met previously at New York City, where it was a draw, and I think it's going to be the same this week. I would bet on the draw on this one. Philly coming off a draw, win. In fact, Philly's drawn 7 of their last 8 games and is really struggling to find that final creative kind of movement and burst in scoring in the final third. Meanwhile, New York City, very big loss to Red Bulls in the U.S. Open Cup, coming off also an uncharacteristic draw against Colorado. Despite having 2 wins before that, I still think this is going to be the draw. Now, for the final game of the weekend, Vancouver is hosting the New England Revolution. Vancouver, win, loss, win. New England, win, draw, win. Not a bad run of form for either team. And while Vancouver has made their way up to 8th place in the table, I just think New England is a much, much better team, getting healthy again. And I would bet New England on this one. So, fans, I'm going to throw up my predictions here for you. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'll put the table up in just a second so you can see the recap. If you like what we're doing, if you like kind of how I'm running things, let me know in the comment section below. You can also send an email to sonsofapitchsoccer@gmail.com. And we look forward to hearing your comments. We look forward to seeing how you did, if you agreed with my picks, if you went with them. How was your weekend on the books? And also, fans, don't forget, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel, share the video, and let's just continue to grow the conversation around the sport here in the United States. We need to make MLS, we need to make American soccer the most popular sport in the country. So that way, when you are hitting on your bets, you're making even more money and taking even more money from the suckers who got into it way too late. With that, let me leave you, fans. Again, Nick filling in for Mike for the time being. I appreciate everything that you guys do to comment, to subscribe, to support the channel, and make sure you join our paid subscription show as well to keep these things going. Here are my picks again, the recap, and then we'll wrap it up right after that. Thank you. Have a great night, everyone.